NAD is hot right now. Find out why on this next episode of Digest This.
Welcome to Digest This, the show that helps you revolutionize your digestive health. Here are your hosts, Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato.
Hello and welcome to Digest This. I'm Dr. Liz Cruz and I've got the beautiful Tina Nunziato sitting right here by my side. Hopefully you're watching us and welcome. And if you are a new listener, welcome. Please check out our library of hundreds of episodes out there. If you're one of our regular listeners, we love you. Thank you for being on this journey with us. So let's talk about NAD.
I know. Yeah. You and I are in the wellness space, so I kind of assume that we're going to be getting bombarded with wellness stuff that's happening, like hot wellness things that are happening. But there's a lot of people talking about NAD. It's everywhere. It's at the place where we go for our IVs. It's at the local supplement store. I've noticed it on social media. Like there's just articles coming out about it left and right. NAD this, NAD that, your body needs NAD. We've talked to people, everybody's on NAD. We just thought it would be good to do a podcast on NAD, to talk to people about what is NAD and does everybody need to be on it? Because everyone seems to be like wanting the NAD.
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, as soon as I brought this topic up to Dr. Cruz, she nerded out immediately because this is a very complicated subject.
Yes.
And, we try to take complicated things and explain it to people so that they can understand it. And you just were really excited to do that with NAD. I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah. I think, first of all, I agree. This is a hot topic. We need to understand it a little bit better. What is this stuff, this NAD that we're seeing everywhere now? I got excited because this was probably one of our first classes in medical school was biochemistry, and that's where we first learned about NAD. But I was telling you earlier that we were young 20-year-olds that were taking in all this information and trying to memorize volumes and volumes of information. And I don't think it really hits you at that moment, probably because number one, your goal is to memorize all the information so that you can then regurgitate it and pass an exam. And you don't connect that with how that's going to help you in taking care of patients and what the impact of that is on our health. Plus, we were in our 20s, it's
yeah, you're not looking at NAD going, oh, how's this going to affect me
exactly.
when I get older? And in med school, I would imagine that you're learning about the Krebs cycle, right? And then the next chapter, you're learning about something else.
Exactly.
So just like our kids say, we're just learning things too quickly, and then there's no way to implement what you're learning. And so sometimes you just you learned it, and now you're moving on, and you forgot about it.
That's right.
And you don't really hear doctors talking about the Krebs cycle.
You don't. You don't talk to patients so when I was in med school, let me tell you about the Krebs cycle. However, that is how we learned it. There's something called the Krebs cycle, and we learned it in medical school, and we had to memorize this cycle. Now, we're going to show you a very, very simplified diagram of the Krebs cycle, because if I go back to my biochemistry book to look at the Krebs cycle, and in fact, when I pulled several of them up, I'm like, yeah, does not
too
look
complicated.
The Krebs cycle from med school was very detailed and complicated, and that's how we had to learn it. So I do want to show you a very simplified form of the Krebs cycle because this is happening in you right now, all day long. 7 days a week, 24 hours.
24/7.
Okay, 24/7. So I have a beautiful diagram that I found, and Tina's going to put that up for us.
Okay, so we're going to pop that up right now.
All right.
All right, Dr. Cruz.
All right, cool. The Krebs cycle is happening in you as we speak. The Krebs cycle takes place in an organelle in the cells, in your cells, called the mitochondria. Okay, mitochondria is one of the structures in our cells, in all of our cells. And the mitochondria is considered the power plant of our cells because that's where energy is created for all the functions of your body, okay? You need energy, and the form of energy that's created is called ATP. Let's talk about NAD. So what you see in front of you, that kind of like peanut-shaped structure, is the mitochondria. And if you look in there, you will see what's called the Krebs cycle, all right? NAD, and you'll see NAD there. Just look at the diagram. There's NAD. It stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. All right, let's just stick with NAD.
I can't imagine why they were.
All right, let's stick with NAD. So NAD is involved in over 500 enzymatic processes that take place in your body. Okay, it is incredible and amazing. And like I said, the mitochondria is the power engine because it's creating this ATP. You can see there on the chart, you can see how NAD becomes NADH. And then it's a NADH that then goes on to give you the final energy product of ATP, which you'll see on the bottom of the diagram. It's helping to create ATP, which is the energy that powers everything that happens in our body. NAD is important for repairing damaged DNA. Okay, that's very important. It's protecting also against the stress that occurs because of inflammation. We all have inflammation. We all have stress. The kind of stress they're actually talking about here, though, is more stress in our body because of inflammation that is happening in different areas of our body. Now, the article that Tina and I read and kind of digested down and that we're summarizing was really an awesome article. And they were quoting a Harvard-trained physician by the name of Dr. Andrew Saltzman. So kudos to Dr. Saltzman, who basically calls the NAD, everything that's happening here in the Krebs cycle, in the mitochondria, this is like the centerpiece of biology, okay? The study of life. Like this is the centerpiece of biology. So what's the importance of it? Again, I'm going to emphasize NAD is really hot now because it gives us energy, it protects us against oxidants, so it kind of acts as an antioxidant. And, Dr. Salzman said in the article, basically it saves us from disease, from cancer. All right.
Which why wouldn't that become a hot topic?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing with NAD, and this is surprising, is that the levels of NAD start dropping in your 20s. In your 20s. And then it's roughly cut in half by the time you're 50 years old.
It's not surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, just we talk about enzymes declining as we get older.
Exactly.
So it's, everything is slowing down.
Everything is slowing down. Okay. But you're still living your life and you still need that NAD to help create the ATP, which is the energy that fuels our body. So what's happening then? Well, what's happening is that you get more damaged DNA, oxidants are not getting suppressed, disease starts to happen. All right. You get tired.
Energy,
exactly.
brain fog.
Exactly. Metabolic disorders, and so it is an issue. It's a huge issue. I want to kind of simplify this whole thing that I'm talking to you about because it's very scientific. Okay. Which is why I totally nerded out here. Okay. And it's so exciting, but I want to simplify it in an analogy that you'll understand. So think of your body as a massive city, all right? Think of food as the raw material, okay? Food is a raw material, and think of your cells in your body as power plants, all right? So the food is a raw material, the cells are the power plants, and it's actually the mitochondria in the cells that are the power plants, all right? And there is an energetic conveyor belt that is processing the food, okay? And again, it's, you eat your food, and we've spoken to this many times. It has to be broken down. The better you chew that food, the better it gets digested, the easier it is to be used as raw material in the cells to create energy, okay? And we've mentioned this several times, all right? So basically, now comes NAD. Okay, so now we're in the mitochondria, which is the power plant of the cell. And now you've got this NAD that is an empty truck. All right, so we're going to pretend the NAD is an empty truck and it's coming in to pick up these high energy packets, which are electrons. Okay, but let's not use the word electrons. These high energy packets that then converts it into NADH. Okay, so that's basically what's happening. And then the NADH, okay, because remember the NAD are empty delivery trucks. Now they've picked up the energy packet and now it's become NADH. And so now it's a full truck, okay? And now this truck has these energy packets, and it's going to take it into the main generator room and drop it off so that then you can get the creation of the actual energy, which is the ATP, okay? And that's what is then going to go through fueling your body to give you mental and physical energy. And it's just, I think that, I know this is oversimplified, but does that kind of give you a good idea of what's happening
so
here?
does what happen over time is you just have less trucks?
Yes, exactly. So over time, you have less empty trucks, okay? You have less empty trucks that can't pick up the energy packets. And so as a result, you have less ATP.
Less energy.
Okay? Without that ATP, you've got less energy.
It's the delivery mechanism.
Exactly. It's a delivery mechanism. This is why NAD has become such a hot topic, okay? Because researchers are understanding more of what's happening. There's constant research being done on why does disease occur? Why does cancer happen? Okay? And there are multiple causes, but NAD is something that is also one of the spokes in this wheel of what's going on. Okay? So what can we do? What can we do now? You know, to try to increase these stores, because now we know that by our 20s, the levels are down, and by the time we hit 50, we have half of what we need of NAD. And we're hoping to live, you know, well into our 90s, hundreds maybe, okay? And so how can we increase that?
The average person lives till they're 80.
Okay.
Which I would feel like people would want to live past that.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I told Tina I went sailing this last weekend, and the captain of the sailboat is 81 years old.
God bless.
Moving around like nothing. And I told her, I want to still be sailing when I'm 81 years old.
Right.
You know, I mean, you know, it's crazy. So what can we do?
Well, as soon as the research comes out like that this is what's happening, that the NAD is lacking, and now you're going to have thousands of companies coming out with NAD supplements and NAD patches, and then there's NAD IVs and NAD injections, and it's incredible, actually, the amount of money people are spending on NAD. But the other thing this article talked about was the best way to get NAD, because taking it as a supplement through your digestive tract, they were saying how it can't be absorbed properly through the digestive tract. So they were suggesting not taking it in supplement form. And then there's just not enough research out yet for the patches or the injections or even the IV. There's just not enough research that says, yes, this is working for people. So I don't know. I mean, do you continue to invest in these things? Is it making you feel good? Not knowing kind of what the end result is going to be of these delivery mechanisms. Do you take that risk and do it, or do you wait and kind of let this thing fall out a little bit before you start investing in something like this? There are natural ways to help your NAD not decline too much, which we can talk about. Before we do that, we're going to do our commercial, because I really want to talk about the detox in this episode. I really feel like, again, we've talked about how many enzyme productions are declining in the body, and how the detox is literally just a high dose of protease enzymes. This is what we call enzyme therapy. So a way that we know for sure helps to get into the blood, clean the junk out, so that our circulation can be strong and we can keep a healthy body as much as possible. Get rid of the junk that's built up in the blood, the inflammation, so that even if NAD is declining, we're trying to keep our blood as clean as possible. That's what the detox does. So something gentle that you can do every single day that's going to help keep the body clean. We have an amazing special running now through August of 2026. So if you're watching this podcast 3 years from now, just know we are now in June of 2026, and our special goes through August of 2026. But we're doing buy one bottle, get two free. So that's a 90-day supply for $39. Okay. We really want to get these in people's hands for 90 days because we want people to see the benefits of what this supplement can do for them. But aside from this, some other things that you could do, first of all, is exercise. Okay, from a lifestyle habit change to help with NAD production. Physical activity increases the body's need for cellular energy. So it's going to force your body to make more energy. Okay, it's almost like exercising. when you exercise, you're like building more trucks
Right,
for
exactly.
yourself. Okay, is to use your analogy, which I love, by the way. Yes. And then food. A lot of times I feel like people don't look at their diet when it comes to how to get better. The whole thing of let food be thy medicine is so powerful, and I don't think we give it enough credibility. In this case, for NAD, eating more vitamin B nutrients can help with increasing the metabolic pathways that are involved with NAD. So things like fish, eggs, mushrooms, leafy greens, whole grains, and avocados are really big in supporting vitamin B. So a lot of the things that we talk about,
Right.
eating a more pescatarian style diet, more plant-based foods, more greens, really important for helping the NAD pathways. And then fermented foods like kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, they also help with creating small amounts of NAD related compounds. So those can also help. Intermittent fasting can be of benefit to people. Even heat exposure, which I thought was really interesting. So being in a sauna, in a hot tub, sitting in a heated pool for any length of time can help increase the cellular pathways for NAD. So all these like little things that you could be doing and incorporating into your life to help with NAD is wonderful.
Yeah.
And you should consider doing it, especially if you're not one to kind of jump on the bandwagon really quickly with all the supplements
Right.
that are coming out.
Yeah, and actually our purpose here, like Tina said, our purpose is to try to teach you ways that you could try to increase it naturally, through your lifestyle. But I did want to mention to the supplementation of NAD, like Tina said, it's controversial with like IV forms. I believe that there's even sublingual forms and the transdermal, like a skin patch that you put on. But one of the things that they did talk about was some of the oral supplements. Like Tina said, the NAD, if you take it by mouth, like pure NAD, it's unlikely that that's even going to make it into your bloodstream because of the size of the molecule. It may not even be able to move through. So for oral supplementation, some companies are making the precursor to the NAD because the molecules are smaller and can actually get into the cells, right? So that it can do what needs to be done. So these precursors, they're smaller molecules. These are the precursor to the actual NAD molecule. They're called NMN, which stands for nicotinamide mononucleotide, and NR, which stands for nicotinamide riboside. Okay, so those are the precursors.
And what does precursor mean in this situation?
So precursor meaning that these are the molecules that lead to the formation of NAD.
So it just helps support the process?
I mean, basically what it's doing is just artificially boosting the NAD levels.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyways, just in case, I know because there are a lot of companies now that are coming out with the oral form of NAD. And what the key point that I think that we should drive here is that you don't want to take just NAD because you're not going to benefit. You're just going to be wasting your money. What you want to get is a supplement that is the precursor to NAD.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a great topic.
I just feel like so much more could be talked about on
Yes,
this topic.
for
Like,
sure.
Like at 20 minutes. That's NAD in 20 minutes. Okay.
That was a whirlwind, very, very high level discussion. But go and do your own research and, and start boosting it, because here's the reality. Our NAD levels are all decreasing. If you're into your 20s, your NAD levels have started to decrease. And so we can all be boosting our levels and do it through your lifestyle, exercise, get good sleep, good diet, all the stuff that Tina talked
Like a
about.
broken record around here.
I know.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So connect with us. If you have any questions, you just want to reach out to us, you have a topic you want us to talk about, please reach out to us at our support email. You can find that on our website, drlizcruz.com. You can also subscribe to get our newsletter. If you haven't subscribed to our podcast, please subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And lastly, if you haven't rated us, please rate us so that other people just like you can find us. And lastly, you can also schedule a free 30-minute wellness consult. Go to our website. It's on our homepage. You can click the magenta color button and schedule that. It's free. It's done on the phone, so you could do it from anywhere.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you for joining Dr. Liz Cruz and Tina Nunziato. To learn more about their revolutionary products and services, go online to www.drlizcruz.com.